it's almost impossible for people to see me doing something else. You're allowed to act because you did that one so well that we can't see you as something else.
Some issue back in the day? And does he need a career revamp?
Filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million of allegations.
Showed up to my apartment and offered me $100 grand to take my clothes off me. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
Problem for me has always been that in terms of acting, most of the world can't get past Carlton.
Now, actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million of allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
That he showed up to my apartment and offered me $100 grand to take my clothes off me. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
Dixon is suing Tyler Perry, the individual, as well as his production studio. That studio is called TPS Production Services, LLC. That stands for Tyler Perry Studios in Action, LLC. And he is looking for $260 million.
Alfonso Ribeiro was beloved. He didn't just play a role. He helped shape a generation's sense of humor. His portrayal of Carlton Banks on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't just comedic relief, it became iconic. The Carlton Dance wasn't just a gag, it was a cultural moment that outlived the show itself.
This is what he says that Perry told him. Dixon said that Perry told him, quote, that he liked being choked. That was after Dixon's character was choked by a cast member in a scene on the Oval. Perry also allegedly said, why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day of Dixon?
But right when most actors use their fame to climb higher, he fell quiet. No scandal, no controversy, just a vanishing act. And for over a decade, no one thought to ask why. Until now. Because as a stunning $260 million lawsuit against filmmaker and TV mogul Tyler Perry floods news cycles, Alfonso Ribeiro's long silence and carefully chosen absence is starting to make sense.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100 grand to take my clothes off me. He said, I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you.
And for fans who once wondered why he never popped up in a Tyler Perry show, this isn't just about missed opportunities. It might have been an act of survival. Alfonso Ribeiro wasn't just funny. He was skilled. As Carlton, he brought energy, timing, and heart to every scene. His dynamic with Will Smith became the lifeblood of Fresh Prince, helping skyrocket it into cultural history. And when the
problem for me has always been that in terms of acting, most of the world can't get past Carlton.
Show ended in 1996, Ribeiro should have had an easy road ahead. But that Carlton shadow became a prison. He was typecast almost overnight. Casting directors couldn't see past the sweater vests and preppy charm. No matter how serious or innovative he tried to be, it all came back to one thing: do the Carlton Dance. And so instead of show offers, he got rejection letters. Instead of movie auditions, he booked hosting gigs, fun, light, and safe.
Now, actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million of allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
But behind the scenes, he wanted more. He still believed in his ability as an actor. He just needed someone to give him that shot. And from the outside, it looked like Tyler Perry should have been that someone. In the early 2000s, Tyler Perry flipped the entertainment industry on its head. From church plays to iconic characters like Medea, Perry grew a core audience that was loyal, massive, and untapped by Hollywood elites.
Some issue back in the day? And does he need a career revamp?
Before long, he was producing films, TV shows, and building an empire, one that emerged outside of the traditional Hollywood system. He opened his own studio in Atlanta, bought property that once belonged to the Confederate Army, and declared it Black Hollywood. And he offered opportunity. Real ones. Forgotten names like Tasha Smith, Lamman Rucker, and David Mann were suddenly starring in hit shows and movies again. So people asked, why not Alfonso? He was famous, respected, black, well-dressed, clean-cut, family-friendly, everything that aligned with the Tyler Perry brand. But he never got the call, and the silence became louder over time. Ribeiro never directly spoke about Tyler Perry. He never badmouthed him, never called him out. But fans looking closely started noticing. His tweets took a turn. Posts that once talked about industry gratitude now warned others to stay sharp and avoid auditions that aren't real opportunities. In one now-deleted tweet, he wrote, "Sometimes the audition is just the setup. Be careful who's really watching." Another read, "I didn't come this far to sell my dignity." At the time, most people shrugged it off. Maybe he was bitter about being passed over. Maybe he was venting like most actors do. But when Christian Keys dropped revealing text messages in 2021, everything changed. Keys claimed that when he tried breaking into film, he was propositioned by someone powerful in Perry's circle, possibly Perry himself. He claimed he was offered money. One quote rocked social media. "He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100K to take off my clothes. He said, 'I don't even have to touch you. I just want to watch.'" Context was clear. The connection to casting roles? Tighter than it should have been. The story went viral, and just like that, people started seeing Alfonso's cryptic posts as warnings, ones we didn't pay enough attention to. Because that silence now sounded strategic. In June 2025, actor Derek Dixon filed a lawsuit against Tyler Perry for $260 million. In it, he accused Perry of manipulating power to create a coercive mentorship dynamic. He alleged multiple acts of misconduct, verbal manipulation, and exploitation, drafting a timeline that began in 2019 and reached all the way into 2024. And it wasn't just things said behind closed doors. The lawsuit included text messages, many allegedly from Perry himself. One, shared in news reports, read, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless S?" Another message allegedly said, "No straight man cooks dinner for you unless they want to F you. I would F you." TMZ, Reuters, and the Associated Press all cited messages that were part of the legal filing. Some questioned their authenticity, but others called it a smoking gun. Either way, for actors watching from the sidelines like Alfonso, it was a tipping point. Alfonso Ribeiro never got the Tyler Perry guest spot. Never made that comeback in a sitcom or drama. Not in The Oval. Not in Medea's Family Reunion. Not even in a feel-good cameo. At the time, people thought he'd simply aged out of acting. Maybe he was done. But in hindsight, it looks like he saw the game and refused to play. He stepped away without naming names, burning bridges, or chasing attention. He hosted reality shows, lived a quieter life. And yet, the choices he made, the roles he didn't take, and the tweets he didn't explain collectively told a story louder than most interviews ever could. Quiet distance isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's a boundary. Let's be clear, this story isn't just about Tyler Perry. It's about how protected power is in Hollywood, especially in Black Hollywood. Speaking out against a white executive might get media attention. But saying something about one of the few Black billionaires in entertainment? That's different. That means turning your back on the only ladder you're allowed to climb. Price isn't just industry backlash. It's betrayal. It's exile. Think of it. What if a rising actor accused Perry of coercion 10 years ago? The media would have said they were bitter. Culture would have called them jealous. And Hollywood would have called them unhireable. That's why Alfonso stayed vague. Until others started speaking loudly. What do Christian Keys, Derek Dixon, and Alfonso Ribeiro all have in common? They were all attractive Black actors looking to re-enter the game. All three circled Tyler Perry's orbit. And all three, one way or another, walked away. One with explosive leaked texts. One with a $260 million lawsuit. One with silence so specific, it became its own form of testimony. What fans started to realize is that sometimes it's what doesn't happen that reveals the most. The roles Alfonso didn't get. Platforms he never touched. The networks he no longer worked with. In an industry where everybody's trying to get in, sometimes the refusal to be included says the most. Alfonso Ribeiro could have followed the crowd. He could have taken the meeting, played the game, auditioned, and hoped for a second act under someone else's vision. But he didn't. He kept his distance. And only now do we understand why. In a world that often praises visibility, Alfonso chose silence. But when the stories start stacking up, with lawsuits, receipts, and enough rumors to fill volumes, that silence starts glowing like a lighthouse. He didn't call anyone out by name. But he didn't need to. And for all the actors who watched him vanish without scandal or drama, maybe now they finally get it. Because when the truth starts leaking one story at a time, it's not always the loudest voices we should have listened to. It's the ones who walked away quietly. That's it for this one. If you made it this far, be sure to drop your thoughts below. This is a conversation Hollywood has avoided for years.